In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on October 28, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Tennessee versus Kentucky. The Tennessee Volunteers are set to clash with the Kentucky Wildcats in a college football matchup at Kroger Field on Saturday. Tennessee is coming off a game against Alabama, which ended in a 2-touchdown loss, bringing their overall record to 5-2. Kentucky, on the other hand, boasts a 5-2 record but is fresh from a bye week after losing to Missouri in their last outing. Tennessee had a strong start to their season, with their only setback being an unexpected 29-16 loss to Florida. Apart from that, they secured victories against Virginia, Austin Peay, UTSA, South Carolina, and the Texas Aggies. However, their game against the Texas Aggies was marred by 12 penalties for 115 yards. In their recent high-stakes clash with Alabama, Tennessee held a 20-7 halftime lead but couldn't maintain their momentum, ultimately losing 34-20. Joe Milton threw for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns and was also their leading rusher with 59 yards. Marquarius White was the top receiver with 111 yards and a touchdown from 10 catches. Kentucky enjoyed a strong start to the season, winning their first 5 games against Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vanderbilt, and Florida. However, they faced challenges in their next 2 games, succumbing to Georgia and Missouri. In the Missouri matchup on October 14th, Kentucky held a narrow 21-20 lead going into the final quarter but couldn't hold on. Quarterback Devin Leary had a modest performance with 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Ramon Davis rushed for 128 yards on 20 carries, while Jordan Dingle caught 2 passes for 32 yards. With 2 full weeks to prepare for their next 5 challenging games, Kentucky enters this clash against Tennessee. The Wildcats have struggled with a 54.1% completion rate by their quarterback and an offense that averages less than 200 passing yards per game. In contrast, Tennessee's defense allows approximately 200 yards per game through the air, aligning with Kentucky's offensive output. Kentucky's head coach, Mark Stoops, remains committed to their game plan, even with their inefficiencies, including a 37% third down conversion rate. Penalties have also hampered Kentucky's drives, with the offense averaging 7.7 penalties per game, costing them an average of 68.4 yards. Kentucky's run defense has been impressive this season, allowing only 96 rushing yards per game. However, they face a significant test in Tennessee, which ranks 7th in the nation in rushing yards per game with an average of 217. Tennessee may not replicate Georgia's performance, but their game plan will focus on mixing passing and rushing attacks. Tennessee's performance has been inconsistent, particularly on the road, where they lost their 2 games against Florida and Alabama. Despite this, Tennessee holds a favorable historical record against Kentucky, having dominated their all-time series. The Wildcats have not managed consecutive wins over the Volunteers since 1976 to 1977. The outcome of this game will likely hinge on the defensive ability of both teams to get off the field. Tennessee boasts the 34th best third down defense, while Kentucky ranks just 97th. Furthermore, Tennessee's offense is 22nd in the nation in converting third downs, while Kentucky is 80th in converting first downs. Although both teams have solid defenses, Tennessee is better in the red zone and on third down, with a more balanced offense compared to Kentucky. In this one-sided rivalry, Tennessee is expected to emerge victorious. Tennessee is highly motivated and aiming for an Orange Bowl appearance, so the Tennessee Volunteers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both Tennessee and Kentucky enter this game with an average of slightly more than 31 points per game. While this suggests high scoring potential, a few factors may keep the total score from being exceptionally high. On the Tennessee side, their scoring has dipped in road games, averaging just 18 points in matches against Florida and Alabama. In this game, Tennessee will likely improve but may fall a field goal short of their average score. Kentucky has inflated their scores against weaker opponents, scoring 45 points against Vanderbilt and 44 against Ball State. However, in their recent games against Georgia and Missouri, they scored just 13 and 21 points, respectively. This aligns well with Tennessee's defense, which has allowed an average of 19 points this season. Furthermore, in their last 5 meetings, the total score has gone under 4 times, indicating that oddsmakers tend to overestimate the line when Kentucky and Tennessee face off. Kentucky's offensive inefficiency, including a low third down conversion rate, numerous offensive penalties, and a low quarterback completion rate, may limit Kentucky's scoring. Tennessee's fast-paced, clock-running offense, averaging 200 rushing yards per game, is expected to sustain long drives, contributing to a low-scoring affair. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Washington versus Stanford. A Pac-12 showdown is set to unfold as the number 5 Washington Huskies collide with the Stanford Cardinal on Saturday at Stanford Stadium. Washington now leads the conference, following USC's loss to Utah. The Huskies boast an unblemished 7-0 overall record, including a 4-0 conference standing. On the other hand, Stanford is second to last in the conference, only ahead of Arizona State, with a 1-4 conference record and a 2-5 record overall. Washington cruised through their first 6 games this season, with a couple of close calls along the way. Their victories included triumphs over Boise State, Tulsa, Michigan State, California, Arizona, and Oregon. In their win against Oregon, Huskies quarterback Michael Penix showcased his skills with 302 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. However, Washington had a narrow escape in their recent matchup with Arizona State, claiming a 15-7 victory after trailing 7-3 heading into the fourth quarter. Penix contributed 275 yards and a pair of interceptions, while Jalen Polk racked up 102 receiving yards on 9 catches. The Cardinal had a more challenging run through their initial 6 games, though they showed competitiveness against formidable opponents. Stanford opened with victories over Hawaii and Colorado, but faced losses against USC, Sacramento State, Arizona, and Oregon. In their recent game against UCLA, Stanford's offense struggled, leading to a resounding 42-7 defeat. Quarterback Ashton Daniels recorded 268 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception, while Alik Iamender stood out with 90 receiving yards from 8 catches. It's worth noting that Stanford has yet to secure a home victory this season, having lost all 3 home games. Additionally, the Cardinal have encountered significant losses against ranked opponents this season, with each of those games ending in defeats by at least 35 points. Washington boasts one of the nation's top offenses and aims to reaffirm their top 5 ranking following a challenging game against Arizona State. In the upcoming matchup, the Huskies are expected to overcome the offensive struggles they faced in the Arizona State game. Huskies quarterback Michael Penix Jr. will likely exploit Stanford's 132nd ranked pass defense. Washington's strong defense, reminiscent of their performance against Colorado, will put Stanford in an early deficit from which they may not recover. Stanford's offense is poised to face difficulties in moving the chains against Washington, and converting red zone opportunities into points will be a challenge. Washington's defense ranks 17th in opponent red zone scoring percentage and 24th in stop rate, allowing just 2 points per drive. Michael Penix Jr. is expected to make a significant impact against an inferior opponent, building momentum for Washington's upcoming game against USC. While some may still recall a previous betting disappointment involving Stanford, this upcoming game is anticipated to follow a different path. The Huskies are expected to dominate, addressing any doubts arising from their last game against Arizona State with a resounding performance. So the Washington Huskies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Furthermore, we anticipate the Huskies to maintain a lead throughout the game, enabling them to rest their starters in the latter stages, slowing down their offensive pace. If the game's outcome is clear-cut, Michael Penix Jr., a Heisman hopeful, is unlikely to play all 4 quarters. In a one-sided game between a conference title contender and a lower-ranked opponent, the second half is expected to see less scoring, with Stanford managing just 17 points in the entire game, while Washington's starters rest. In their previous matchups against ranked opponents, Stanford has scored 10, 6, and 7 points. While Washington's defense isn't the best, they have managed to keep their opponents to under 20 points per game. Although Washington's offensive performance raised concerns after their Arizona State game, they are still expected to score over 40 points. Stanford has recorded less than 60 points in 5 of their 7 games, while Washington has scored under 60 points in 4 of their last 6 games. Therefore, the odds of Stanford doing enough offensively to push the total over are slim. The projected total for this matchup is too high. Stanford's inability to be competitive and sustain drives resulting in touchdowns is expected to lead to a lower scoring game. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Vanderbilt versus Ole Miss. In this Saturday night Southeastern Conference showdown, the Vanderbilt Commodores hit the road to face the Ole Miss Rebels on their home turf. Vanderbilt is coming off a challenging 37-20 loss at home against the top-ranked Georgia, while Ole Miss is fresh from a solid 28-21 road victory against Auburn. Vanderbilt enters the game with a 2-6 overall record and suffered another loss in their most recent game. Despite scoring 20 points against Georgia, they never really seemed in contention to win the match. Their defense conceded 37 points, contributing to another defeat. Quarterback Ken Seals completed 19 of 29 passes for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Vanderbilt averages 28 points while their defense allows 34.5 points per game, ranking 124th nationally. Their defense faces a stiff challenge in this matchup. Ole Miss may not be getting as much attention as some other Southeastern Conference teams, but they currently hold a 6-1 record. In their recent game against Auburn, they secured a 28-21 victory, although not in a dominant fashion. Quarterback Jackson Dart completed 10 of 17 passes for 202 yards, with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Ole Miss averages 40 points per game for the season, with their defense allowing 23 points per game. Their offense is ranked 9th in college football, while their defense is ranked 56th. Vanderbilt has endured a tough season with 6 consecutive losses, and only one of those defeats was a close game. 5 of their 6 losses were by double-digit margins. In contrast, Ole Miss has been performing well, with 3 consecutive wins, and their only loss this season came on the road against Alabama. The Vanderbilt Commodores possess one of the weakest defenses in the country, which could be problematic when facing Ole Miss, who boasts the 11th-ranked total offense and the 10th-ranked scoring offense. However, Ole Miss has allowed opponents to stay competitive this season, and Vanderbilt has seen 5 of their 6 losses decided by 17 points or fewer. With Vanderbilt having an extra week to prepare and Ole Miss coming off a demanding game against Auburn with the Texas Aggies next in line, this matchup is likely to involve a significant number of points. While an Ole Miss victory with a substantial margin wouldn't be surprising, the free points being offered on Vanderbilt make them an attractive choice. So the Vanderbilt Commodores to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game is expected to be a high-scoring affair, considering that Vanderbilt averages approximately 30 points per game and Ole Miss averages around 40 points per game. Additionally, both teams have struggled to keep opponents out of the end zone, with Vanderbilt's defense allowing an average of about 35 points per game and Ole Miss allowing an average of about 24 points per game. Although Ole Miss is anticipated to contribute the majority of the total points, it's worth noting that Vanderbilt managed to score 20 points against the formidable Georgia defense in their previous game. In terms of trends, Vanderbilt has either gone over or pushed the total in all of their games this season, and 2 out of their last 3 matchups against Ole Miss have also resulted in an over. Vanderbilt's offense is relatively decent, especially in the passing game, where they average 265 passing yards per game, ranking 41st nationally. This could pose a challenge to the Ole Miss defense, which ranks 91st in the Football Bowl subdivision in terms of passing yards conceded. Furthermore, Vanderbilt's defense has had its vulnerabilities, allowing 38 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games. This could be problematic against Ole Miss, which has averaged an impressive 50 points in their 4 home games. With the over hitting in the Commodores' last 5 games, we anticipate a high-scoring encounter. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.